And this is Unrelegated coming at you live from Hudson FC. And we're live, baby. And we had a loading screen that went twice, and we're already off to a great start.
It's an on-time start, honestly.
Well, we didn't know that it was going to actually kick off automatically. So,
right.
Anyways, there you go. So we're still learning. And we should have had Tim and Kevin come and set this up for us. You know what the heck what they're doing.
A little bit at a time. You know, it's our first. So
yeah,
I think we started well. It's going off to a good start.
It's fine. People can hear us, right?
It's like the beginning of our season. Yeah, for sure.
We'll see if people can hear us or not. I'm not sure. I'm trying to get into the chat, but yeah.
I'm sitting on here. I already have 2 people saying hi. So hello. Hi. Thanks for joining us. Please feel free to chat along with us. We'll see your comments during the whole show. Once we get into topics, give us your ideas, give us your thoughts. We'll probably bring up some comments during it. So we'd love to interact with you. This is sort of what this is all about, us doing this live so we can interact with you. We can broaden the conversation with all of the fans, and we can sort of, enter your homes and your lives.
That sounds creepy.
And be part of the family, even more so than we already are.
Yeah. All right, cool. Everybody can hear us. Thank you for letting us know in chat. And thank you for joining us here at Hudson FC, our headquarters, our booth with the new sign here.
Conquered, baby. Yeah.
I feel like we're going to start, this wall will start collecting things.
Yeah. The next one will go right next to it.
We appreciate it, Fran. I appreciate you setting that up for us and putting cool stuff on the wall for everybody to see. So Kelly, tell me about how, what's going on. How's been your week and all that?
My week's been good. So I just started my league play on Monday, but I started it off by playing with a bunch of the Resurgence people Sunday, and that ended up being a 2-hour sweat fest where you came out and had a little fun with recording us,
right?
And enjoyed that, and then. Thankfully, right after you left, we decided to go to Shirts and Skins. So a lot of people started.
What was wrong with the
shirts.
Lights and Darks that you were playing?
It got too hot. At one point, I was just like, "This is too much." So
it was in the morning. How long did you guys play out there?
We were there since 9 a.m.
Right,
and then we stayed until around 11:30.
That's too much soccer.
It's too much soccer. And it's too much heat. It's way too much sun. I'm burnt.
Y'all are crazy.
Burnt.
I left after an hour recording because I ran out of memory. I filled up 2 memory cards from shooting using the new shoulder rig.
But it was good. I played one of my best games of pickup that I've had, and then I completely shot myself in the foot on Monday when I had one of the worst games of pickup I've ever had. So you got your good and your bads, as the famous clip is. Sometimes good, sometimes it'd be good, sometimes it'd be shit. So, that's just me on a personal level.
Well, apparently the video is not running smoothly. We are on the Hudson FC's private Wi-Fi, but it may not be good enough. We may have to switch over to my phone next time and use that as a hotspot. This was a trial to see if their private Wi-Fi could handle the stream. If it can't, we'll figure something else out for next time. So hopefully it's not to the point where people can't understand what we're saying.
Right.
Because we're also relying on this audio to go out for the podcast. So if it's all garbled, then this is just throwaway. And we'll just have AJ delete it forever.
Forever.
It'll be fine. So if you are not aware, guys, the first time you're listening to us, we're an uncensored, pretty self-deprecating soccer lifestyle podcast, kind of focused on Atlanta soccer, supporters culture, all that fun stuff. We make videos and music videos and vlogs, and we do a lot of stuff with Atlanta United Fan TV.
Yes,
in fact, we have a new series that Tanner and I have been doing. It's sort of twice a week so far. We've been pumping out every 3 or 4 days, called 5 Stripe 5. And so it's basically the show, as we say, we tell you all the things we think you should know. Even if you don't know, you need to know them, we're going to tell you anyways. And it's just a quick 5-6 minute roundup of what's going on. And
I think they're wonderful because, you're getting so much information in a very short, congested amount of time. And sometimes during a work day or during the week, it's sort of hard to sit down and watch and try to digest all of the news that comes out. So it's sort of it's a blessing to have something like that going on. So good work, guys.
Word
up. Word to your moms.
So we had a match. The match has happened.
Yes.
And 2-1 final score. A loss on the road in Seattle. Seattle has been killing it up there.
They have.
They looked really good. And depending on who you talk to, there's about 1,000 different ways that I've seen people say they thought it was completely a disaster. Some people said it was close. Some people said that we should have been lost by more. I think Jason Longshore said it on Soccer Down Here too. He's like, I don't think anybody saw this game the same way.
No. And look, I thought the first half we played really well, which I've also people have battled me about, but I thought that we held our own and we needed to come back into the second half, fixing a little bit of the problems, and we just sort of lost it from there. I feel like we had chances to level it. We had chances to walk out of there with a tie, but I feel like, at that point in time, we lost our head halfway through the second half, and there's really no coming back from that.
Well, I mean, by we, Gressel and LGP, right?
Yes, pretty much.
Gressel with the giveaway. Let's look at this video. I'm gonna pull this up here if you're watching, and let's just look at this goal. So Gressel gives it away, right? And not a good look. And then just look at that he kicks it over Miles Robinson and scores the goal. Like, what in the world? I mean, it was a killer goal. It'll probably win goal of the week or something like that. So
Rui Diaz did it. That it's like what they called that the sombrero goal.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. So either way, a great goal, but it was set up by Gressel in the first place.
Yes. Yep. And then the terrible giveaway by LGP in the back.
Right.
Absolutely terrible giveaway. As I'm sure you're probably queuing up that video as well. So
no, I don't have that video.
No, we don't want to watch it anyway.
I can't show MLS highlights because then our videos get flagged and you know.
Like a Celine Dion thing.
So I can show the team videos that they make themselves, but I can't show the broadcast stuff. So because of licensing funds.
Yeah,
so.
But what a wonderful! I mean, it was an incredible goal. It probably will be goal of the week. And normally we don't see Miles Robinson in a 1v1 battle really getting schooled, but he was taken to school there, and it's sort of hard to watch. But at the same time, you got to tip your cap. That's a great goal.
And I don't know. I mean, my opinion is that we just weren't. I don't think we were great the entire match. I think there were moments like Joseph had moments. Obviously, he scored a goal. Gressel had moments where he should have put it away, but he was getting in the box, and he was hustling and he was doing. I don't know. I don't think he had as bad of a game as some people said. But all you're gonna remember is the horrendous giveaway, right?
Correct.
And the thing is, here's my thing with that. It's not like we didn't know that this is an issue for him for the last 2 seasons. That's why he didn't play midfield a lot,
right,
because he would give the ball away in bad spots. And so he would be up on the wing.
Right.
And so part of this is a symptom of you're putting a guy who has a susceptibility to this in a position, playing a position where he could make those types of mistakes. LGP, I can't explain. I don't know where his head's been at. But he's been very frustrating.
For him this year.
It's very mixed bag.
Yeah.
And definitely not, Defender of the Year performance like last season. So we have guys that look exhausted because there's injuries, they're playing all the time, there's no continuity in the back line, they haven't played together. I think I heard Nick Alifi said that, or Jason Longshore say that the back line that we want to see hasn't played together even once.
Yeah.
Because when we did have Bello,
right,
Escobar was already injured with a collarbone injury.
Correct.
So it's all these things compounding. I think it's also the new system, which is boring in my opinion, because it's just not the same style. And
right,
then he's trying to implement it with all this other chaos going on. And then I just get the feeling that there's no team chemistry right now. It feels like, I don't know what it is. It just feels like these players look disjointed, that they are feeling the same thing we're seeing.
Right. And it's showing when you obviously watch them play. I would agree with you on that. It feels weirdly like the chemistry and the sort of vibe that we had coming off of the win has sort of dissipated. And maybe that's with the new system that's being put in place, and that nobody really technically, as you can see, feels comfortable in what they're doing. And I think we're focusing too much on trying to make the defense work when we should be still also paying attention to our attack. Our attack hasn't been the same since we won the cup, and that's honestly what puts butts in seats.
We haven't had Barco either since he went on international duty, basically, and then came back briefly, got injured. Mikey Ambrose, we found out, got a hamstring injury.
Yep, so we don't have him.
Right in training before Seattle, it's a mess. And then Breck Shea tore his ACL, and I don't know if it is the same knee. I know when I spoke to him before,
I believe it's the same.
He had
knee.
torn an ACL before.
Yep.
And that's when Devin and I met him into him, and they were coming back from where were they coming? New York. And he had just got checked up with insurance comp or something like that for his previous injury. So really devastating. It's season ending, game over. His salary still takes a hit against the cap.
Yeah.
And so,
but in regards to that, if we're talking about this whole him going on the injury list, right? And so that opens up a roster spot. With the way that functions, it means that whoever comes in place for that spot wouldn't actually count against our cap, which helps.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. So I guess that's nice.
It is nice. I mean, when we're talking about all the restrictions that MLS has against teams and the way that they can build their roster and the roster restrictions that they have, it's kind of nice when you have a player that you still have to pay for with their salary, even though they're on a season-ending injury list. It's nice to know that whoever they come in or they replace that roster spot with will not be pulled to the cap.
Well, let's talk about this. So Sydney Hunt of Dirty South Soccer said there was a couple key points because an article came out, news came out from Paul Tenorio initially broke the news from The Athletic that Atlanta United were interested in Moe Adams from Chicago. And I don't think he's on a starting roster position right now. I think he's like a reserve spot. But he has a green card, so Atlanta United would still have an international slot remaining. I think he's originally a Generation Adidas player and from Georgia. So that's helpful. And then because otherwise we'd have an issue with him being able to play as a starter because of the number of slots left or something. But roster rules, not my forte. So it says if Breck Shea's forced to go on season-ending injury list, which at the time we didn't know yet, but he is, he would get roster relief, as you talked about. Right. So he'd no longer take up a spot on the roster, and we get some relief in terms. And this guy, we're talking $100,000. He made I think he's on the. I think he's listed
he's not expensive.
He's $100,000,
right?
Which isn't. I mean, it's not much cheaper than Gressel, right?
It's not much cheaper than what we also got. Yeah.
So there you go. Apparently, he is a. If we look at Felipe Cardenas' tweet, Moe Adams is, as DeBoer said, is being looked at as potentially a fullback position.
They also play as a more defensive midfielder as well.
Right. He's a defensive midfielder, but they're looking at him potentially filling that fullback role, which I would still think they're still looking for a fullback.
They should still be looking for a fullback because when you look at both sides, right? So we're light on both sides. We've got Escobar, and then who else goes into that right side?
And also, this happened so fast. Was this something we were already doing before Breck Shea?
Yes. From everything that I've read, that this was in works before the Breck Shea thing happened.
Okay.
So this was somebody they wanted to bring in anyway before Breck Shea went down, and now, honestly, it's awful that what happened to Breck Shea, and thoughts and feelings out to you, and hopefully that you recover soon and that the surgery goes well. But the silver lining here is that it happened during the transfer window, so at least we can try and then make the moves to fix the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really crappy that that's the way that I set that up, but it's. That is sort of the silver lining that you have the ability at this point in time. You should have already been looking ahead of this.
At the same time, Breck Shea's salary still hits the cap. He's not cheap. He's a major discount for what he was. And so that's going to impact any consideration of who we bring in as well. Either way, they better get busy, man. This transfer window, get something, because everything is falling to pieces in terms of injuries. In fact, if we talk about different injuries, I think we're at Franco Escobar out.
Yep.
Mikey Ambrose is out.
Yep.
Breck Shea very much out.
Yes, very much out.
Florentine Pogba.
Yep.
Out probably still. Barco not
still not
doing
training.
Tito not training.
Tito's not training.
Bello not training.
Yep. So Mike Conti,
And Kratz. People keep forgetting about Kratz.
Yeah. So Mike Conti had a very interesting couple of tweets that were this week. So this is what the sort of injury is going to be the main topic of most of his treasure chest tweets. But he basically said percentage of season missed due to injury, and then in parentheses minutes in MLS matches only. Bello has missed 100% of the season with an injury. Kratz 90%, Ambrose 70, Villalba 40, Barco 25, Escobar 20, Remedi 9%, Pogba 8%, Petey Martinez 5%. So when you look at that list of players that we've had that have a percentage of their MLS matches missed because of injury, it's a long list. It's a really, really long list.
It's ridiculous when you see them all laid out like that.
Yeah. Isn't that insane?
Yeah. And then you also have another one in here on working Wednesday's match that Atlanta United has not won a league match this year when these players are out. When Escobar is out, we're 0-3-2. When Remedi's out, we're 0-3-0. Lorenowitz, when he's out, we're 0-2-0, although he wasn't much help last time, to be honest.
Which I got to say, it's very interesting that Atlanta United is doing promos with him for tomorrow because he's not playing. Normally they do promos with somebody that can play, but he's out for 2 more matches.
I don't know how that works. If they spent the money to record his stuff, they got to use it, right? So.
Well, no, like it's a photo promo. So like in their like match day that you get in your emails, he's like
that stuff was probably orchestrated like weeks ago.
Probably. I just thought it was very interesting that's
with this congested fixture schedule, they probably have their programs like scheduled out like a month in advance.
That's true.
And so it's been. And speaking of fixtures and stuff, and we'll dig into that. But Footy Mob had a member kind of dig into just how congested things have been, and he said that they've counted rest days on the calendar for the whole year. If Atlanta makes the U.S. Open Cup final, they will end up playing 24 of their 34 league games on short rest, which means 70% of our league games, 5 on 4 days rest, 11 on 3 days rest, 8 on 2 days rest across all competitions, and then add 4 more games on 2 days rest and 1 more on 3 days rest. So their point was any discussion about the standings and about where we're at and about your feelings have to take that into consideration, which I think is reasonable.
It is reasonable.
It still doesn't make me feel any less frustrated with where we're at this season. I still have the same feelings, right?
Yeah.
As to the logical, whether it's a logical cause or you can explain away or there's excuses or they're not excuses because they're actually logical reasons. I don't care. Just fix it.
Right.
Just get better get players in the transfer window, right? Make some good moves. We've had so we know that our front office can make crude moves when they have to. Do it again. Get some solid guys in, and let's not get into a position again where we're shipping away Zizzo and Greg Garza, like all of our backups, so that when we get in this position, it's like the worst case scenario. We get rid of all of the
backups,
the backup guys,
like McCann, and
and then we get slammed with this, and it's like, you please learn from this. Please learn from this that this can't happen, especially if the league is cramming all these games in together like this. There's going to be even more injuries.
But that's also on the league, though. They have got to see that not only this team, but other teams like Toronto, SKC. Gressel had a really stagnant point to this when he was talking to the media today. He said, I think it's proven that you have a higher injury risk when you play a lot more games, especially after a short off season. And all that stuff plays a role. You saw it with Kansas City, same thing. You saw it with Toronto last year, same thing. We're looking at these teams who are good teams, but because of the congestion, right, from CCL, from Open Cup, from regular MLS Cup matches, now with the Championes Cup, we're seeing all of these games that these teams are playing, and that they're running the players dry, and then something's got to change on the front, whether it be MLS change and go back to a longer season instead of trying to congest everything to before Thanksgiving, or they open up a little bit of their roster restrictions. You allow teams to have another DP. You allow teams to spend a little bit more money, have a little bit more leeway on the restrictions that you have with your roster. I understand that it was made to keep the teams fair and to keep MLS teams pretty much even with each other, but at some point in time, you've got to realize what you're doing to the players, and that's not healthy.
I'm just going to sum it by this.
Okay.
This schedule is not going to work.
No, it's not.
It's too much, and it puts a strain on the players. Gressel came out, talked about the impact. It also impacts the attractiveness and the enjoyability of the game. And then other people will come out and say, but all the teams are facing the same problem, which, yes, they are. But Atlanta United specifically has played like 4 or 5 more matches in this congested schedule than in terms of that congested time period because of CCL and all this other stuff than any other team. So we are still facing, yes, it's something, a challenge that all the teams are facing, but Atlanta United's up there in terms of the most matches in that.
And we're also a team that get most of our games broadcast on national television. We're a team that is attractive. We're a team that draws in.
Not anymore. We're not. Well, I mean, that's the thing is, like, after this season, I wonder how many channels are or ESPN is going to pick up our games.
Correct.
And it's not, and a lot of it has to do with this congestion probably and the injuries and stuff. Jason Longshore in that same thread said that basically, the part of the decision was the World Cup 2022. They're also trying to avoid the international windows in October, November, so there isn't a break in the playoffs. But the way they're doing the playoffs, the way they decided to do the playoffs also makes this worse.
Yeah, it does.
And so I don't know. To me, there's better ways to do this. They keep trying to fix it. I don't know if they're going to wait. Like, if the CBA, this will be part of that discussion. I would imagine it is.
I would hope so.
It seems like they're going to be talking about everything in the CBA. So I don't know. Like, maybe we may even see players go on strike or something because it's madness. I mean, this has to be weighing on the minds of the players.
Yeah.
When you see an injury list like that, what are we doing?
I mean,
like, it's a safety thing. It's a health of the players.
It's absolutely a safety thing.
Forget the entertainment value.
I mean, well, nobody's going to want to come to MLS with the congested schedule that we have now and think, oh, I'm going to get injured.
And fly commercial the whole time and then miss flights and have to go the morning of.
Let's not even add that into it. You're flying commercial, right?
Although it didn't stop the Red Bulls from flying in, and 4 hours later just driving to the stadium and still winning against us.
But there's still that point of, like, we forget that cross country is a huge ordeal. Flying to Seattle is a long flight. That's tiring on anybody. That's jet lag. That's a lot of other things. So you're not only putting the players through the exhaustion that they're getting through with the matches per week, but also the cross country travel.
Yeah.
That's just another thing on top of it.
So on top of all of this, we had the whole Petey Martinez drama and Frank de Boer, and Frank de Boer using the word dangerous, that he's was dangerous, and then Petey getting all wrinkled up about it, and saying to the Fox Argentina press that he'd rather that he was told ahead of time. Frank de Boer saying that he did talk to him before he went out to the press conference. So someone's lying, or there's just really poor communication. Either way, the front office had to step in and have a sit down with PT and make sure everything was fine, and Carlos Bocanegra and specifically. And so everybody's saying it's fine. It's just a misunderstanding. It is what it is. Both people are right. I think they're also both wrong. They're both knuckleheads. Just stop doing this dumb stuff. Like, stop talking to the press and mouthing off. And if you're not talking to your player before you're throwing him under the bus, talk to your player first before you throw him under the bus. Like, get it sorted.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have time for this shit.
Yeah.
We're already getting all fucked up with all the schedule shit we're talking about and everything else that's going on and injuries. That we got this bullshit drama going on. So that was unnecessary, unneeded nonsense that's happening. But at the same time, since that stuff's been going on, PT's had 2 solid games.
He has. And I think that was one of the things that he also mentioned out of this whole debacle, is that he sort of, at the end of games, just sort of shuts off to himself and is going to try to be a little bit more open and talk to other people and talk to the coach and all that good stuff. So if the communication needed that sort of an event to happen for him to sort of right his boat, then I'm fine with it. I mean, he's had good games. And he's also had games where he has been a little bit dangerous. But at the same point in time, I absolutely agree with you. Both of them need to talk. This shouldn't be something that we, as a
coach, you have to be aware that his ego is probably fragile as it is. Don't use language like that. Like, be a little more political. I understand that Frank de Boer is a straight shooter. And that he expects everybody to just get used to it. That's the way it's going to go. But at the same time, there's cultural divides and things like that. You should be sensitive to. Just relax. Just everybody calm the fuck down. Like, you don't want to be going out there and be like, he was dangerous. Like, just say that he wasn't playing as defensively. It was a bad, he was putting bad balls or whatever. But just the words that he uses is just like, that's going to push buttons, right? And I don't think it got the reaction. Or maybe it did. Maybe it did get the reaction he wanted. Maybe he didn't mind him going to the press about it. It got him to wake up and go, oh, okay. So who knows? I don't know sports psychology. De Boer's been doing a lot longer than I have. So maybe this was like planned to do this specifically.
But we do have good news. There's a little bit of good news. So Atlanta United has signed George Campbell to a homegrown player contract. He's 18 years old. And that contract, as we have seen through this whole issue with Brek-Shea, as we all know now, will not be in effect until 2020, January 1st. So
Because of dumb roster rules.
Because of dumb roster rules, because rules. I don't know. So we can't even get the player we just signed into a homegrown deal because MLS. So some interesting things about him, right? He's a sixth player to sign as a homegrown in the club's history. He started the academy in 2016 and the 2017 season. But what's cooler, I think, about this is that he spent the majority of the 2019 season with Atlanta United too.
Yeah, in fact, he's across his colleagues in Atlanta United too. He's ranked second in like tackles and duels won, and then third in clearances. So a defender. We're basically with Parkhurst probably on the way out. We don't know LGP's situation. Obviously, I would have said that he was a lock-in guy for a career guy at Atlanta United.
Right.
I don't think he likes Frank de Boer very much. I don't get the feeling that he likes him very much. He's not performing well. So, I would put him on the list. I even said this. I put out my only prediction that I'm putting out for this season is I think that I don't know when it'll happen. It's 1 year, 2 years down the road, but I think LGP will leave Atlanta United before Frank de Boer does. So that's my prediction. I just don't think LGP's jiving right now with Frank de Boer's system, or maybe it's just continuity, and once everybody's healthy again and they're playing together, it'll be fine. But at the same time, there's clear problems. And so either way, I digress. We need guys that are young, that are going to be coming up, that can play defense, that can play center back. We clearly need young guys that can play right back or left back.
We just need backs in general.
Yeah, just all the backs. Just bring them in.
I'm sometimes a right back, so I can just slot in whenever. If you guys want to hire somebody, I'd be terrible, but at least I'd be a body.
Yeah.
I'll flail myself in front of people.
And then in chat, Tanner says, Jose speaking to talking about psychology, the Mourinho psychology, and James says that he's tempted to reach through the screen and smack Tanner right now for that comment. So.
Oh, you gotta love the chat. But what's sort of interesting about Campbell, and I'm back into that, but he is. And this is something that we should be excited about coming into the next year, is that he, as a homegrown, as an 18-year-old, has played in 11 games and 10 of them he started. So back on that defensive unit, we have people coming up that we'll be able to have access to next year. It's unfortunate we just can't get them now.
Well, as Frank de Boer talks about, he says it's frustrating the roster rules that he can't just go like an Ajax and grab guys and just bring them right up. And and if this was Europe, we'd sign the guy, but because he's currently classified as an academy player and not a homegrown yet, then he can't be brought up to MLS. He can be signed to a professional contract for USL, and then he could be loaned, I think, to MLS. But it's just this is so stupid. He's in our academy. Yeah. Why can't we just pull him in whenever we want? I don't know. I don't understand this stuff. I hope they fix this shit. It's freaking annoying. And it's got to be frustrating for Frank de Boer, who's trying to come in here and let these kids play, right? Yeah. Because also they get frustrated, and he said, because they know, oh, God, I have to wait another 6 months?
Yeah.
That's got to be aggravating.
It's got to also be
when they know they're good enough that he wants to play them now. Yeah.
I mean, he literally said 2 names. So, absolutely, they know that they have the ability to come up and that the coach is watching them. But also what's sort of not on the bright side, Atlanta United 2 hasn't been doing very well, right? So then it's this inconsistency.
As Josh reminds me every time we're on Twitter, it's not their job to win. It's their job to get the guys up. I don't care. It sucks.
I mean, it's still, you're constantly losing.
You're still charging tickets for people to go and watch that fucking garbage. I mean, 8-1.
Yeah, it was bad.
They lost 8-1. Now, granted, for context, Red Bulls 2, always one of the best size contenders, always contenders for the championship.
They're a great team.
But at the same time, and they've had a academy and a system for a long time. So they're entrenched in their philosophy. My problem is that it's very difficult for the average fan to stomach that kind of beatdown.
Yep.
I don't care that your average age was 19 years old on the field. I understand that, hey, look, That's part of this is because Gallagher went and got loaned to Aberdeen and won man of the match playing in Europa League, a qualification match. We have other guys that we've been sending up. Miles Robinson lost, there's no continuity, and I get that. But this is the second year in. What's our fucking philosophy? Because I understand Stephen Glass has an interview and talks about the fact that winning is not the priority. No, actually, no. Stephen Glass came out and said it. I think he changed. He said winning is a priority. Now, he tempered that, of course, saying that we want to build it. But my big question is, when you look at these other, like Red Bulls 2 and stuff, they bring in a solid string of USL professionals that they play that expect to win. And it's not only about having the right people there with the mentality to understand, like a Metcalf, that they're helping the youth go up.
Right.
Especially when you're sitting there and you know you're not going to get called up to the first team.
Right.
And you have to go and face these defeats time and time and time again. Granted, maybe they're like, hey, the cafeteria food's fantastic. This is better than anything else I was playing in some shithouse fucking USL team. Right. And maybe it's fine. But maybe other guys are sitting there going, this is bullshit. Like, I'm sick of losing. Like, I understand I'm helping these kids grow up, but how does that help me in my career? So it has to go to the psychology of somebody, like a professional USL player. And so you have to have this right mixture and this right blend, right? And I don't think we're getting there. I don't know if they know exactly what their philosophy is or if their philosophy is meeting what they want to do. And if that's partly just because we've had a few players move on. Andrew Carlton, and I don't know how to explain that one. He looked dreadful in that match. And so you have these players that are not doing good enough.
Yeah.
And then you just have young guys in the academy popping in and out all over the place with no continuity. I get that it affects performances. But losing 8-1 is unacceptable. That's just not inspiring, and that doesn't inspire people to go out and watch Atlanta United 2. It hurts your product.
Yeah, it does.
From a marketing aspect, it's garbage, because at the fucking same time, this is an entertainment. It's entertainment. So don't give me that fucking bullshit that, like, oh, well, they could lose all their matches as long as they're putting out the products. Well, then nobody's going to fucking show up and pay money to see them. And then you're going to have an empty fucking stadium. And then how much fun a USL professional is going to be having coming there and playing in front of empty stadiums. So I think it's bad. I think it's bad for the culture. I think it's bad for psychology. I think we have this. I hope they figure it out, that they could find some balance, because we're about to play Birmingham, who just signed Asiadu, by the way.
Yeah, they did.
And if we lose to them this weekend, they're going to surpass us in the table. They're a brand new Birmingham Legion. I mean, they're crap. And we're about to possibly fall under them. And the only team that's worse right now than us is the Swope Park Rangers in last place.
Yep.
So it's aggravating. I think it's easy for analysts or people to say, well, you just got to be patient, this and that. But at the same time, I think it's a little more complicated than that. And you can't tell me that they're happy and satisfied with those kinds of results. So my rant is over for Atlanta United 2. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
At the end of that, I was like, okay, deep breath, Jay.
And granted,
full of air.
I mean, you look at the academy by itself, right?
Yeah.
They're killing it. The
They
academy is bomb, but stepping up to USL is a whole nother story.
But they're not. But you have to also realize that those academy players that have been looked at by other teams, so they're not always. Not all of those players are going to go up into our USL team anyway.
Well, it seems like we're rotating everybody the fuck in there right now. I mean, everybody's getting a chance to go in there because our academy kids are that good because they're going up. But when you do that and they're being thrown in, and you have a guy who's typically like a forward playing as a right back or something, then those are the types of experimentation that are also going on. That's what we saw with John Gallagher, who was a forward, then a winger, and then he was a right back, and now he's doing well with Aberdeen. I get it, but there has to be a balance.
There does have to be a balance, but that's sort of the hardest part, and that's sort of what Stephen Glass did say. So he was basically saying winning is a priority, but he doesn't know who he's got to use until week of, maybe a few days out before the match. So it's this whole rotating of your squad, and I get it. Look, there should be, no matter who is playing in on the team, there should be a system, and there should be a way that this works.
You should have a stalwart of several players in that team that are always playing consistently in that position. Like when you're doing like a Red Bulls, where it looks like everybody's playing except for maybe one or two people for the first time, I don't know how helpful that is.
Yeah.
Because you don't have any continuity of your teammates. There's nobody there. Metcalf,
did they start Atlanta
Metcalf was out, I think, injured or something, so that had an impact. So you had one of your senior guys not there, which it helps to have those guys on the field. But do
you really think that they started Atlanta United 2 to make a profit? I don't think they did. I think that they really brought that in to culture.
But it's your brand.
I do agree.
Your fucking logo's on there.
I know.
So don't have Stephen Glass come out and do an article and say that winning is a priority this season, and then fucking pull that shit, because that doesn't jive. So which is it? Is it just fuck winning? Fine. Then just be honest and say we don't give a shit about winning.
Right.
Then fucking say that. Don't say winning is a priority and then, we'll be in last place at the table. Like, that's just, I don't understand. And I talked to Josh about this, and he always goes back to the same thing, which is, okay, well, the job is to keep Atlanta United players fresh when they're playing. They do that. You see guys that have successfully been moved out or sold or loaned out. Lagos Kungo's doing well for Memphis 901. So there are signs that pieces of this are working.
Right.
We know it is.
They are.
But it's not fully there yet, and maybe it's going to take a couple years to figure this out, because the USL team's only 2 years old. The Academy's, 4 years old?
Yeah, the Academy is way older than the USL team.
But the USL team is still only 2 seasons in.
Yeah, but a lot of those players that we have right now on that team that are those solid veteran players are not from our Academy. They are from people that we've picked up and that are rotated. You're absolutely right. I think we should start with a solid base
Just
of guys.
figure this shit out, guys. Come on.
By the way, I got to
us
say, thank you, Daniel Graham. Live J-Riddle is the best J-Riddle. It absolutely is.
Boom.
You're absolutely right. But to sort of tie up the whole ATL UTD with the bow, they are 6th in the USL Championship Eastern Conference, and they are right now at 3, 4, and 10. So everything you're saying, Jay,
16th. You said 6th.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said it's on my notes as 16th. So I'm just.
I was like, they're definitely not 6th.
I'm wishing them luck.
That would make my rant totally moot. Like, that would have been hilarious. I could go on this rant about how disastrous they are, and then Kelly's like, and they're 6th place, and it's like, oh shit. Like, what was that? What was he screaming about?
Well, I mean,
then?
it's
That
like
seems okay.
It's the rants that people have about Atlanta United and about how just disastrous we are right now, but we're 4th in the conference.
Well, I mean, it helps when the rest of the Eastern Conference is also facing this congested
all
fixture
really,
schedule, and they're also being complete shit. I mean, but does that make this? Should that make us feel any better? I don't think so. I think that, this is an expectations game, people. In my opinion, I don't give a fuck what people expect Columbus Crew, or if the Columbus Crew fans aren't as angry as we are and they're even doing worse. I don't give a shit. Nobody expected the Columbus Crew to do fuck all. We expect Atlanta United to be a championship trophy-winning team.
Yes.
So, therefore, the bar is different. So when you see people get upset, it shows they fucking care. I don't get this whole bullshit where people come out and be like, well, fuck those people because they're being completely ridiculous and they need to calm down. Why? Why should they calm down? They pay for season tickets. They get fucking pissed off as they want to be. What's the cutoff line? Is the cutoff line then you're allowed to be upset once we're in 7th place? Like, what's the fucking cutoff line?
That's the cutoff line.
So I get it. Like, we all have varying degrees of way we express this stuff. And sure, there's some, like, outliers that are like, to pour out, and there's some outliers that are like, everything's fine. But for the most part, I think we're kind of in this one big pot in the middle swimming around trying to figure out what the fuck is happening. Like, we're just trying to figure out what's going on.
We're trying to figure out what the fuck's happening. And, I mean, a lot of it has to do with the schedule. A lot of it has to do with injuries. But there are things that, like, I sometimes don't agree with what Frank de Boer does. So, like I said after the game in Seattle, I don't think that subbing it was Remedi for Heidman. I didn't think that was the right move. I thought Remedi was actually having a pretty good game, despite what people think. And I think that Gressel actually should have been subbed out. So that's my take on it. But I mean, like, I'm obviously not the coach. I mean, you don't pay me for that. But it's if we don't have fans that care or are also trying to figure out what's going on or also trying to give their opinion on it, then we don't have interaction. Then we don't have people buying tickets.
I'd rather see Twitter fucking on fire over what some people may perceive as nothing burgers than a bunch of apoplectic apathy and just dead quiet because nobody gives a fucking shit anymore. And that's the thing. Like, to me, this is good. Like, it's good that Elena Twitter goes on fire when this stuff happens because it shows that people give a shit. If they didn't give a shit, then they'd turn Twitter off. They wouldn't even talk about it. They'd be like, I'm not going. I don't care. I'm not watching. I don't care what happens to the team. But that's not what happened. People care.
No, and people should care.
So
they
I
absolutely
say
should care.
Continue to be whatever you want to be about this, and don't think your takes are silly or let people tell you that they're dumb or that you're being outlandish, You feel what you feel. We're not all analysts. Like, we're not. It's not my fucking job to sit there and dig through 3 years of stats and try to compare the number of losses and wins. And, well, Joseph didn't play this game, so if you look and carry that and carry the 1 and the 2, I don't give a fuck. That's not my fucking job. My job is to listen to those people and then weigh that against my emotions and say, okay, does that influence me enough to now yell a little less or more? Like, you know, so I get it. Like, most of us are operating with what's in front of us for that game and maybe the last few games in our memory banks, right? We don't have, like, the spreadsheets open and we're looking at whoscored.com and all this stuff. And I think people that have the loudest microphone sometimes speak your mind, give us the facts, tell us what you think. But I don't need the talking down.
It's also not finite.
Of, like, at the end of your comment about how you think that this is actually not that bad and and then you tell people to calm down. Well, you could leave that part out. Why don't you just stick to what you feel?
Okay.
But just don't, like, who cares what everybody else is saying? Like, you don't have to fucking shit on them.
No.
Like, that doesn't help you make your point.
No, and that's what I was trying to say. It's like you can have your opinion. You can have your opinion on if you think we did well or whatever, and if you want to mute some things and in your own opinion, you can, but I wouldn't say talk down to anybody. That's not what this is about. We're here to spread the game.
I just see a lot of actuallys and splainings going on when things are not going well.
And I see a lot of people complaining about cussing. That's what I see. And it's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
All right, moving on. We kind of already went through all the injuries, so we covered that. And if we look ahead, we are currently in 4th place.
We're currently in 4th place, people.
Everything is fine. Don't worry about it. We have all the games. We have 50,000 games in hand. We're only like 3 points behind.
No, we're 6 points behind. It's Philadelphia.
Yeah, totally fine.
2 games in hand, but
it's all
6 points behind.
Either way, I mean, like, the fact that DC United is in second, like, I was like, really? It didn't seem like they've been quietly just moving along.
They've been quietly climbing up, for sure.
NYCFC just got beat by Red Bulls in that crazy corner flag incident.
Oh, my God.
Did you guys see this? So basically, a ball went out. A ball went out. The corner linesman said, clearly pointed to the corner kick. Red Bulls went and quickly threw the ball in, it in. The guy didn't say shit. He just looked and said, "Oh, okay." And then, it created a goal. Royer scored the goal. They ended up winning 2-1. Red Bulls beat NYCFC. Kelly, the ref, came out afterwards, and when asked about it, said that he had verbally said that he had overruled the linesman.
From yards away at a different angle.
And there was an article in Athletic, and I just blanked. It's Adam. Forgive me, I forgot your last name, Adam. He wrote an article in The Athletic, and he basically said that Kelly was in another zip code. He was 40 yards away in the center
so far away
from that play. And then there's none of the video footage from cameras or anything show his mouth moving at all or saying anything. Now, they have headsets, so technically he could have whispered something. And maybe the linesman heard him, so that's why he didn't stop the throw-in from happening. But how would the Red Bulls players know that it's a throw-in unless they also had a headset?
Yeah. No, but that AR that did the corner call has been playing, and it's probably one of the best ARs that we have in this league, which is, it doesn't speak.
It can't be reviewed. It can't be reviewed,
which is it's absolute shit. It's absolute shit.
So Kelly is either lying.
Different Kelly.
Or there's a Red Bulls player that has a headset. And he can hear the refs.
Actually, honestly, I wouldn't take it against them. I wouldn't put against Red Bull.
Oh, man. All I know is that Alex Moyle looks like a guy that runs a Honda Civic club in the back of a Dunkin' Donuts in New Jersey. That's all I know. It's every time I see his face. Him and
that's so that's just extremely specific, Jay.
He has that specific face. I'm telling you. Like, you check out my new muffler, bro. Like, check it out. Yeah, it's a Civic. Relax.
People's face, the way people look, as described by Jay.
And then the owner of the Dunkin' Donuts always coming out yelling at him. Are you going to buy anything or not?
Oh my God!
Get out of my parking lot.
Live Jay is the best Jay.
Yeah.
So we're going up against Houston, obviously, as you're watching this live. Is tomorrow, but if you're listening to this tomorrow, it's today. Yay! But obviously, we're going against Houston. Houston are coming off a 3-1 loss to a Carlos Vela-less LAFC, which is sort of surprising because from all this talk that I've been having...
And like 2 days rest off a U.S. Open Cup match that came out.
Right. So all of this talk that people have been having about how LAFC is as far as stats-wise, doesn't produce as much as when Vela's on the team, they've obviously showed up.
They've always been like that, though. Even last season, they would rotate guys in. You'd have a new striker they'd sign a new guy every 3 weeks.
Every 3 weeks.
Someone come in and they still play and they win.
Bob Bradley's system.
I think the big question is, will they be a playoff team? Like, in other words, they completely were disastrous because LAFC because they had no defense. So, will they be a playoff contender just because they're doing well and they're going to win the Supporters Shield and they're breaking all the records and points and all that stuff?
Honestly,
their press is their defense.
Their press is their defense, and then
it's not like Red Bull's levels, but it's still a great counter press.
They haven't really been plagued with the injury horse yet, so.
And it's rumored that they are trying to sign a striker, so they could even get more weapons here in the transfer window. So that would be scary. It
will be interesting to see how they become affected by the congestion, right? So if they have the injuries start happening and all that stuff that other teams are going through, to see how they sort of recope and deliver. But I think LAFC honestly, they're my pick for MLS Cup this year and Supporters Shield. They're running too hot right now. In my opinion. But this is on a completely different topic. So we're talking about Houston right now. So Houston just lost to LAFC, a 3-1 loss, right?
Which is not bad.
It's not.
Days, it's
not bad. So,
what? You didn't lose by 6 goals? Okay, great.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah. So right now, Houston is sitting just below the playoff line in 8th place in the West, which is with a record of 8-3-8. They will play again on Saturday against Toronto FC, so we could see possibly a rotated lineup.
Yeah, so we get to short it on the rest, of course.
Pretty much.
Figures, right?
Yeah. But they'll come into the match with 6 losses in their past 7 matches, which is not great. And they actually have...
did Houston play LAFC on Sunday? I don't know. Anyways, go ahead.
No. So... they, like I said, they'll be coming in with the 6 losses in their 7 matches, and they're actually considered one of the worst road teams in the league right now, which is surprising because I think that we're
definitely going to beat us.
Yeah,
because
that's how it happens.
That's for the level that's been set now. So,
but Houston are going to try to come and spread Atlanta out and force errors on our less than consistent back line. But we should also note that we will be playing without Franco Escobar. So
that stupid card,
the stupid yellow card.
Even if it was a foul, because I guess that's debatable, right? But some people say a foul.
The ref said on the field it was a red card.
And then he didn't give the red card.
Then
what is this lying, pro referees? Why are you lying? Just make mistakes. It's bad enough. But don't try to cover up and say stupid shit or say stuff and then don't do it. Like, make up your damn mind.
Don't you become better? I'm good.
And anyways, if it was an actual red card, then VAR could have reviewed it and given it a red card.
Yeah.
And they didn't because it's a stupid yellow card in the first place. So anyways, there is, guys, if you show up, you may want to wear white. That's because Atlanta United is asking to do a white out, which is basically like in college football. Everybody shows up. I think Tanner in his latest Stripes 5 does a great explanation of that. You can go check that out on Atlanta United Fan TV, and you can check out the video. We've got Penn State kind of showing what they do. So anyways, everybody wears all white. That will, I guess, cause great fear in the heads of Houston players.
The eyes of the Houston players. Look at all the people in white jerseys.
Yeah.
No, we'll try it. Let's try it at least, But let's talk about what...
Now, Houston did beat the Red Bulls, by the way. Red Bulls were away to Houston, so, just to
But
keep
Houston
that in mind.
was at home.
It's still, I'm still saying, I'm just saying, just because
Were the Red Bulls wearing white?
I don't know. Maybe that's the juju. Maybe that's why they picked that night to do the wearing white. Yeah.
But Frank de Boer did say on Houston that they have got pace and good quality. They have a lot of South American players, and they'll put a lot of heart in it.
I love how he just says they have a lot of South American players. Like, in other words, without South American players, you are not quality. Like, that's what it comes off as. Like, they have the South Americans, very good quality. I just love that. Like by default, if they're playing South Americans, then it's like they're good quality.
But he said they have a lot of heart,
which isn't not true for most of these South American players. MLS, so
pretty much. But they have a lot of heart and they play quite direct. And he did say that they are a nice team to watch. So I'm hoping that it's an entertaining match to watch, at least. I'm hoping.
If you don't have a white kit, Niall, wear a white ring tee or a Hanes tee or something. Figure it out.
I wouldn't say the other thing that's white, but yes, it's the wife beater. I wouldn't say because it's a white beater, but people used to call it a wife beater, which is not. It's a different thing.
Moving on.
All right.
Sorry. No idea.
I grew up in the South. I'm sorry. Which is even worse.
Nothing to do with the South, by the way. Grew up in New York. Same thing.
Oh, was it called the same thing there?
It's same thing all across the country.
Oh gosh,
Guarantee
that's not
it.
great. Anyway, moving on. Moving on.
Oh my goodness.
Live Kelly is the worst Kelly. Honestly.
I don't even want to preview DC. I don't even want to preview.
You don't even want to go there?
No.
Okay, we won't even go into DC, guys.
Forget that. I can't handle it. Houston's enough.
So let's talk about the matches that Atlanta United has coming up then. So.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's like Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday,
Correct.
Wednesday.
Thankfully, though, we do get a bit of a break between when we play DC on Sunday and when we play LAFC on Friday.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Kickoffs at 7 p.m. Wednesday, and so tailgate per usual going on.
Yep.
Don't miss it. Don't miss it out. Now, what I will say is that if you come to the tailgate on Sunday, there will be Devin and I and Kelly and Tanner. We'll be roaming around, and we'll have some special guests with us from over in the UK, and we'll be doing some filming. And so come find us. Find out who it will be. Maybe we'll give some hints and tweet some stuff
a little later
as it gets closer. So don't miss out on that.
It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, as we said with Atlanta United 2, Birmingham Legion coming up next, and then they play the Charlotte Independence. And it doesn't matter. All those teams look the same to me. They look like L's, LL. Like that's.
Aw, come on.
So yeah, maybe I just feel bad for the fans that are paying money. I know it's not a lot, but they're still buying for $400 a pit pass or whatever for the season to go and watch Atlanta United 2. Now, granted, they get stuff for that money. They get access to the players. It's a lot more easy to go out for autographs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it would be nice if we gave something, for the kids to show up, to those matches, because a lot of times it's families and kids to see a W.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'd do
like a W.
And maybe we'll see Osiedu play and we'll get the W. We'll get a double win.
I mean, we still like Osiedu, but you know, it'd be nice to get
Let him get a goal and then we get 3.
And then we get 3.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
Win-win on that. Win-win, definitely. And then we got we got one upcoming event. The Unified Soccer match is July 21st, so you can head down to the 100 level after the final whistle. Where
this is the only game I think they play at home.
Yeah. So that's this upcoming Sunday.
Yeah.
So after the final whistle, where Atlanta United Unified team will play the DC United Unified team, they'll play immediately following the match on Sunday. So if you want to stay, hang around, watch the Unified team play, come hang out with them.
In the past, they said they were going to do that stuff, and then it didn't happen that way, so you couldn't see the match, or unless you were a family member and stuff like that. So that'll be cool if you want to support the Unified team, hang around and participate in that. What do we got? We have an iTunes review?
Oh, I've been so backloaded. I haven't looked at the iTunes review. So
all right. Well, while you're looking at that, I want to pull up some stuff and talk about some stuff.
Oh gosh.
I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling a wild card here. All right. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but there is a jacket that is for sale.
Oh my God, that jacket
for $79.99, limited edition. I hope it's limited, like they made one. And
I hope it's super.
The clock keeps resetting. I said something before. Now it says 17 hours left on the clock, and it's basically looks like what most people are calling a NASCAR jacket. It's got a flaming soccer ball on it on the back, and a huge Atlanta United logo, and then Atlanta United down the side, and Atlanta United down the sleeves, and then more Atlanta United logos, and it's got a hoodie. It's got a hoodie, guys, and it's got a giant MLS badge on the front, and it says Football Club. And then Atlanta United. Football Club, Atlanta United. Woo! Yeah. And
it is one of the most atrocious things I've seen.
Annabelle said that he's definitely rocking that. So I would love to see him in that.
But Annabelle could rock that.
He could rock that. Yeah.
Like that jacket makes sense.
It would go with his platinum hair.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or when he sprayed it
coming down to Flavatown.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't think it's a motorcycle jacket. It looks very thin. It's only $80. So I definitely wouldn't expect that to protect you very much from road rash at all. But yeah, if you want it, you can check it out at fatherbears.com.
I'm sorry, it's called what now?
Fatherbears.com, which to me, when you hear people talk about bears, it's members of the gay community.
Yeah, correct. It's a very different.
Big bears.
Yeah, for sure.
Like hanging out at the LA Eagle,
Yeah, no, if we're talking about that jacket, then that jacket would make a lot more sense now. That makes so much more sense now.
I don't think bear wearing that at an LA Eagle, like totally not. I mean, like playing pool. No way.
You don't think so?
No.
Come on.
I don't think they'd get caught dead in that thing.
Oh, my Lord.
No way. Also, another thing, if scrounging around Reddit, Apparently, if you are attempting to just buy tickets through the regular Ticketmaster online route for the Open Cup match against Orlando, you will get a message that says that sales of this event are restricted to residents of Florida. So,
yes.
What does that mean? It's not anything that surprising. It's to help limit scalping and also for the front office in Orlando to control where people are sitting. If you call the front office of Atlanta United, they will hook you up with tickets in the correct section. If you are a member of a supporters group, they will obviously get you tickets in the correct section. And then if you really want to sit where you want to sit and try to do that, you can contact the front office and call their ticket office directly at Orlando, and they should help you find seats. So I know people are making a big deal about this and the pop-up, and you have to be a Florida resident. It's kind of funny, but you can get tickets. It's fine, so don't worry about it. Lastly, apparently Mikey Ambrose went a little nuts with the Face app that is popular right now that makes everybody look really old.
Oh my gosh, please share.
So we have Miles Robinson, it looks like. There's no labels, so I'm guessing this is Miles Robinson. I don't know who this is. Oh, is that Vasquez? No, there's a lion tattoo there. Is that Tito?
Is that Tito? I can't see the photos.
Oh,
I can't see it on my end.
It's not pulling up on your end? Oh, well.
Well, it's about to.
Yeah.
It's about to, for sure.
And then Parkhurst, who looks kind of like Parkhurst, doesn't change very much. And then Mikey Ambrose.
It's just very interesting to see, because I gotta admit that I went onto the Face app today and put my face in it, and I will not be sharing those photos ever. It literally just made me look at my face and be like, I need to put way more moisturizer on my face at night to avoid ever looking like this. For some reason, it gave me a lazy eye, and I didn't understand that. I was like, I don't have one in real life, so it was just very interesting in general.
The giveaway from Mike Gurman at Thoughtmaker of the T-shirt went off very well. Those of you who replied and retweeted and followed and all that stuff participated. Thank you for participating. A winner was announced a week or so ago. If you are an artist and you would like your stuff showcased or to do a giveaway, we'd be happy to help facilitate that. Get your name out there and get that stuff out there of any kind of Atlanta United related swag or art or stuff like that. I have a painting now, Gressel painting from a fantastic artist too. That it's all great. So we love to advertise that stuff. So let us know.
So back to the iTunes review, because Kelly finally figured out how to work it.
Okay.
We do have one. It was made by Darwing Duck.
Oh, I think this is new. Yeah.
$12.89. It says 5 stars, irreverent, ridiculous, and everything. It won't let me do the full title, but everything I'm assuming you need to know. So it says, listen to Kelly, Jessica, and Jay is basically like sitting down with your friends to discuss all things Atlanta United football. Their rambling discussions are fabulously irrelevant, delightfully ridiculous, and by far the most fun way to stay updated on the club. You're absolutely right, sir. Your check's in the mail.
Boom. Checks in the mail.
Delightfully ridiculous.
It's gonna bounce, but it's in the mail.
That's gonna be tattooed on my arm. Delightfully ridiculous.
That's a lot to chew. That's a whole arm tattoo right there.
That's a whole arm tattoo. That's what Atlanta is Familia is now just gonna say delightfully ridiculous.
Oh, man. So, guys, if you're watching us on Atlanta United Fan TV, remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment, all that fun stuff. You've already been commenting in chat, so fantastic. Thank you for showing up for our first live stream from Hudson FC. And, yeah, check out the other shows like 5 Stripe 5 and all that stuff we're putting up on there. More stuff to come down on the road. You can check out one of us on Soccer Down here every Monday, typically at 10 a.m. unless they do a late show. You can check out Kelly, Jess, or I on the phone. We rotate through there. Kelly and Jess did a great job doing a lot of Women's World Cup coverage.
Was a lot. And we will be doing a sort of World Cup wrap-up, so just be on the lookout for that with me, Jess, and Jason.
Yeah.
The Triple J.
I may be doing a super secret interview with a player coming up to do something with a charity event that they're doing in September. So we'll keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll make sure that gets out.
I wonder who that would be.
I'll just say that I am very bad at golf. Maybe he can show me something.
There you go. I would love to see you attempt to drive a ball.
I can drive a ball. I just can't hit it straight.
No, so I can drive. I just can't do any of the putting. I am absolutely crap at putting.
See, I spent a lot of time on the putting courses, so, with the windmills and the giraffes. So, I'm very good at the obstacles. You can find Unreal at Unreal ATL on all the social media. You can find me at JAYW Riddle on Twitter.
You can find me at the Kelly Francis on all the social medias.
And Jessica's at Jessica ATL UTD. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for hanging out and chat a little bit. We'll hope to make this more of a regular occurrence. We'll go back and check the stream, make sure the video quality was okay. If it wasn't, we can always hop over to my phone, do a hotspot there, and I think that'll be fine because we did like a 6-hour thing last year on my phone.
On the phone,
streaming, and it was relatively fine. So
we might just have to do that next time because everybody's been saying it's been a little bit in and out.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just a start or not. We'll just have to go back and look at it. But I think the audio's been fine, so hopefully if you're listening on a podcast, there haven't been any interruptions, and this live feed hasn't interrupted your experience.
Gloriously smooth and delightfully ridiculous.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks so much, and we'll catch you next time.